Welcome back. Today's video is on Carl Jung. Life begins at 40. If you enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments if you want more types of video of these, or let me know in the comments. So you probably heard of this saying, life begins at 40. People throw around at birthday parties. Sounds like a promise. Hey, don't worry, the best is yet to come. Example. But this is kind of scary because let's say you are 25 years old, right? And you're at your birthday party and everyone's surrounded by you, your family, your friends, everyone's there counting on you. And, you make your wish after the happy birthday song is, singed, right? After they sing the song for you. And let's say you're not doing anything. Let's say you're kind of just in a pit hole, you're stuck. You make the wish and you're like, whatever your wish is, maybe you want to be rich. So you say, I hope I'm rich. And you make your wish and you blow out the candles. Still kind of scary because when you hear life begins at 40, it can kind of scare you. If you're young or maybe you're old, maybe you're 38, 39, maybe you are 40. So it can, kind of put fear in your eyes, in other words, right? Maybe by 40, you've got a career, responsibilities, and maybe a family. You got a great family and you got a great career. You are juggling all these roles, and someone is telling you life hasn't even started yet. You're like, wait, what? How is life not started yet? Because one, I have a family. Two, I have a great job. Like, what are you saying? Life has not started yet, right? Like, what have I been doing this whole time? If I've been wasting my time thinking I've been doing something good, like, what am I doing wrong, right? And but here's the thing. Carl Jung didn't mean like in this kind of way, right? When he said life begins at 40, right? He was talking about something deeper. He believed the first part of our lives, it's all about building what we called the persona, uh, the version of ourselves we present to the world. The face we put on to fit in and to succeed, to play our part, right? By the time you hit 40, the mask starts to crack, right? I mean, your mask starts to just kind of crack, right? And that's where the real you starts to come through. All this time you've been having a mask on, right? As Robert Greene said, people have masks, right? People are fake, in his words, basically. I'm kind of, not saying exactly what he said, but you get the point, right? Jung had this great quote. This quote said, "We cannot live the afternoon of life according to the program of life's morning." Think about that for a second. The dreams, the goals, the things that drive us in our 20s, they are important. Sure. But are they still going to make sense when we are 40? Maybe not. And yet we hang on to them. Why? Because change is terrifying. Letting go of who we thought we were supposed to be, that's hard. But here's the interesting thing. Jung didn't see this shift as a bad thing. In fact, he thought it was necessary. He believed that midlife, what we often call a midlife crisis, isn't a breakdown. And you hear about it all the time, the people who have like a mental breakdown. And it just kind of happens, right? It's a breakthrough, right? It's a chance to look at the parts of ourselves we've been ignoring to grow into something more authentic. Let me put it this way. Imagine you spent your whole life climbing a ladder and you get to the top and suddenly you're like, wait a minute, is this even the right wall? That's what Jung is talking about. You're climbing the ladder. And when you finally get up to the top, you're like, wait, is this right? Or what's going on? Wait a minute. The person can only take us so far. The persona, right? Eventually, the other parts of us, what he calls the shadow, which I made a video talking about the shadow. If you don't know what that is, I'll talk about it in this video, but also I have a video on that. And I'll put it in the description below, okay? This isn't some spooky, sinister thing. The shadow is just everything we've buried. All the stuff we've pushed aside because it didn't fit the image we wanted to project. Maybe it's anger or fear or even something positive like creativity. Whatever it is, it's the part of us we've ignored. And Jung believed that in midlife, the shadow starts to make itself known. This process of facing the shadow is what Jung called individuation. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about becoming whole. In our younger years, we are all about building careers, relationships, and repetition. But at some point, you have to ask, who am I outside of all of that? All this time that you're, you know, working and, trying to find a girlfriend, a boyfriend, or whatever, right? You're never looking at who am I outside of all of that? He's saying to look deeper. Jung wants you to look deeper, right? Here's a story. Jung told about a businessman. In his younger years, this guy was laser focused on his career. He worked crazy hours, sacrificed relationships, put everything into climbing the corporate ladder. By 50, he made it. He had everything he ever wanted, or thought he wanted, but he felt empty. Through therapy, he realized he abandoned his creative side, a love of painting he hadn't touched since his 20s. Reconnecting with that part of himself didn't undo his achievements, but it gave his life a new dimension. Working is part of life, right? But we all have hobbies, His hobby was painting. And he didn't touch it, since his 20s, since he was like 21, 22. And now he's 50 because he just kept working and working and working. He sacrificed everything. Yeah, he got rich. Yeah, he made the money. But his hobby, he just kind of threw it away, You don't believe this beautiful metaphor. He compared individualization to alchemy. Just like turning base metals into gold, we can transform our struggles, our doubts, or even our failures into something meaningful. But here's the catch. It's not easy, right? It's not easy. It takes honesty. It takes a willingness to look at the parts of ourselves we'd rather avoid. But let's be real. And the most of us would rather not. Think of the shadow as an attic. Over the years, we've thrown all kinds of stuff up there. For example, when you're Christmas, Halloween, all the holidays, you kind of just throw the stuff up there, and you wait and you bring it down when it's time for the holiday. Christmas, when December comes around, boom, it's time for Christmas. Well, now Halloween comes around, you get your Halloween decoration time, right? Jung is basically telling us to think of alchemy as like, the shadow as an attic. In other words, things we didn't want to deal with, things we thought we would never need again. But every once in a while, we hear a creak and we know we've got to go up there and take a look. Some of it's junk, sure, but some of it might be treasure. So how do you start this whole individualization thing? Jung didn't hand out step-by-step guides. This isn't a self-help book, but he did leave us with some ideas. First off, self-reflection. That means journaling, right? Meditations, or even just taking quiet time to think. The point is to be honest with yourself. What have you been avoiding? What parts of yourself have you buried? When you journal, You can start off easy, journaling your entire day, journaling your thoughts, writing down your thoughts. Meditation, well, pay attention to your breath. You're gonna have little thoughts that like float around in your head, but try to ignore that. You can acknowledge it, but don't entertain it, right? Just kind of look at it and go back to looking at your breath. Well, yeah, trying to, see your breath. Pay attention to your breath, right? That's the best way to meditate. In quiet time, just take a few moments out of your day, and go somewhere where it's quiet. Think, those thoughts that you have, just think about it, try to relate to your thoughts, if that makes sense. Second, pay attention to your dreams. Now, I know that sounds a bit woohoo, but hear me out. Jung believed that dreams are a direct line to unconscious. They are not random. They are trying to tell you something. So maybe that weird dream you had the other night, it's worth thinking about. Good point. Now, if it's like an insane, crazy dream, like, I don't know, someone killing someone, it's probably not telling you something. But if it's like, maybe you see someone you know in real life or someone you've seen in real life, it could be telling you something. Now, don't take this, to the extreme because, we don't know if this is fully true, but this is what Jung said, okay? Finally, get creative. Whether it's painting, writing, gardening, whatever creativity taps into something deeper, and it lets you express parts of yourself that words can't reach. For example, painting. You could paint, so many things or draw so many things, and it can relate back to you. Let's say you want to live in a big house and a farm, right? Or you want to live, in the country, you want a big house, you want a farm. Paint that or draw that, right? And it can relate to you. Or even, writing, write stories or write, your thoughts down, just get creative, right? Let's circle back to the saying, life begins at 40, which I have a board that literally says that right there, okay? It's not about pretending the first 40 years didn't happen. It's not what Jung is saying, okay? He's not saying that those 40 years didn't happen. No, he's not saying that at all, okay? It's about bringing together all the parts of yourself, even the messy, complicated ones, and realizing that they all have a place. Jung's philosophy isn't about chasing perfection. It's about embracing complexity. I think that's how you say it. It's about understanding that you are more than the roles you play. It's about knowing it's never too late to grow, to change, to begin again. That scares a lot of people because when you have to start over or change, that's a scary thing. Let's say you have a YouTube channel. Let's say it dies down. And let's say you keep posting and posting and posting, but it's just not, you're just not improving. And then you end up starting over. It's a scary thing, right? So I get it. So if you are approaching your 40s or well past it, don't worry about the time loss. Instead, think of it as like it's a new chapter. As a new chapter in the book. How it talks about one thing, and then the next chapter, it talks about something else. It all relates to that thing, probably, because maybe they're in the same category, but it's a different chapter. So something brand new, right? A chance to dig deeper, to find what really matters to the person you were always meant to be. Because maybe, just maybe, life begins at 40. I want y'all to think about that. I know it sounds insane, but I want you to think about it. Maybe life does start at 40. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe. I'll have new videos coming out. Let me know in the comments if y'all want different type of videos or what videos you want to see next. If you like Carl Jung, I'll make more. Y'all have a great night.